Pink, glitter, makeup, so girly. Dress to Impress is a game for girls, right? What about the boys? Can they play too? Obviously, DTI does have a mask rig, but dress up is for girls, sports are for boys. We've probably all heard some version of this growing up. Why are certain games, toys, or entire aesthetics still associated with one gender over another? And what happens when someone decides they don't really care about those rules? So to explore some of these questions in the world of Dress to Impress, I sat down with none other than Noetic, a notable male player within the DTI community who was super candid with me about his interest in more stereotypically feminine things and what it's been like becoming a mask influencer in such a heavily feminine space. So get your Barbie dolls and your Hot Wheels, and let's jump right into it. Okay, real quickly, before we get into Noetic's experience, let's lay a little bit of groundwork so we can understand exactly what it's like to be a boy within a feminine gaming space. Saying that Dress to Impress is just for girls is obviously pretty silly in the big 2026. Fortunately, in many places, we've moved past the idea that a kid can only play with certain types of toys or games because of their gender. But that doesn't mean that the pressure to conform to those stereotypes has disappeared. Let's say you're a boy or a man who sincerely wants to play Dress to Impress because it's fun. That should be the end of the conversation, but socially, is it really? Are you going to be accepted for that, or are people going to think you're weird because you're participating in something that's seen as feminine? And there is actual research suggesting that this pressure can be particularly strong for boys. Studies have found that boys are more likely to be criticized or excluded from participating in feminine-coded activities than girls are for participating in masculine-coded ones. By around age 9, children are already aware that boys who participate in stereotypically feminine activities can face exclusion from their peers for breaking these gender norms. On the flip side, girls may be encouraged, or at least accepted, for participating in some masculine-coded activities, while boys tend to be more strongly discouraged from feminine-coded play. For example, not all girls will be shunned for wanting to play soccer, for example, but many boys will be discouraged from playing with Barbies, just as an example. Researchers have even found that boys increasingly avoid pink during early childhood, while girls don't develop the same kind of avoidance towards the color blue. And this divide isn't necessarily harmless. Further research into toys suggests that continually steering children towards toys associated with their own gender can limit the kind of activities that they participate in, and potentially can limit their development. Girly toys, quote unquote, traditionally emphasize things like appearance, just like Dress to Impress, caretaking, or domestic roles, while toys marketed towards boys are more likely to emphasize things like competition, conflict, action. So restricting the type of toy a child can play with is also telling them inadvertently that they should also be avoiding these types of associated traits. So where does Dress to Impress fit into all of this? DTI is extremely femme-coded. There's no doubt about that. Pink, glitter, makeup, fashion, dress up, it checks all of the stereotypes for girl, basically. But one thing I found most notable when I first joined the DTI social media community was just how many male players there actually are. Unfortunately, I couldn't find reliable demographic data showing exactly what percent of DTI players are male versus female, so I don't know exactly, but when you step into the content creator space in the community, there actually are quite a few prominent male creators. So if you are involved in the DTI community at all, you probably already know the brother duo, Vantraxia and Noetic. For a long time, both of them remained anonymous behind their accounts, and they kind of slowly teased the fact that they were, in fact, not girls.
Today, I'm going to be doing a Dress to Impress challenge where I force a master server to do 2024 style outfits. Let's see if I can place on the podium.
Vantraxia is a boy? What the hell?
Vantraxia is a guy?
At first, I thought she's a girl.
Wait, you are a boy?
Ooh, the voice.
As you may or may not know, Noetic eventually took that a step further by doing a full face reveal this past year, and shocked the community when people realized that yes, he was in fact a guy. So watching his experience from a distance, I was very intrigued by this, and that made me especially interested in hearing firsthand about his experience. I wanted to know what it was like stepping into such a feminine-coded space. Did he experience any of those pressures or gender stereotypes growing up? And what has it been like becoming a male creator in a community where people people initially are going to assume that you're a girl. And of course, being the very kind person that Noetic is, he indulged my curiosity. So I want to just ask you, do you think men, boys, and mask people, is it okay for them to play Dress to Impress? And if so, why? Or if not, why?
Well, I think definitely the answer is yes. I think Dress to Impress is for everyone, because I think people that disagree with that would obviously have the viewpoint of men should be doing masculine things, girls should be doing feminine things. A bit of a silly viewpoint. But Dress to Impress isn't just about femininity or masculinity or anything like that. I think it's more about having a creative outlet to be able to express yourself, first of all, and also for you to be able to put your creativity into something that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do outside, like in the real world. For me personally, I used to, when I was a child, I would hide in my house and I would play like Girls Go games and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yes, I loved it so much. But there was the fear of like, if someone catches me, I'm a boy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So having something like Dress to Impress, even now as an adult, and being able to connect with that inner child, I think it's really good. As just, like I said, like a creative outlet. It's just a really good way to put myself out there, as well as like obviously all of the other mask players as well.
I know for me growing up, any boy that was interested in doing anything feminine, painting your nails, something like even just hanging out with girls at recess, like he would immediately be labeled gay. Like I just like, again, you don't have to talk about your sexuality if you don't want to, you know, or your orientation, but like, you know, you can be gay. You don't have to be gay to play this game either. You can, like, it's okay to wear dresses and not be gay, you know, but I feel like there's especially drag culture, all these sorts of things, like, well, there is an overlap. I don't think it has to just be for queer people, although we probably should acknowledge that it was founded by queer people, right?
Yeah, I think obviously I came out when I was 13, so I came out at a fairly young age, and for me, I used to back then, at least where I am, there was sort of no queer representation. There was nothing like out in the open that I could see and be like, oh, like that's me, like something I could see and feel understood. When I was a kid, I used to search for representation everywhere, and if I saw like a little gay flag on a shop window, I'd be like, oh, this shop is like, they support gay people, and that to me would mean so much when you don't really see anything. Nowadays, I feel like there is so much representation everywhere, and I do understand why people would want to feel represented, like directly represented by the game that they play, and I think it is really important as well.
That's like really touching. And it's also kind of sad, but like, I mean, I think it's really important. I think you just hit the nail on the head on why representation matters. Have you ever, this is what I was like mostly interested. I mean, I guess this goes for any mask player, but have you specifically dealt with like any sort of discrimination in game or out of game? Like, I don't know, again, if this is too uncomfortable, like, did your family judge you for playing? And like, when people found out you're a boy, was it like scary? Like, I don't know.
First of all, my family is fine. My family is very accepting. They always have been. For me, I know it's not the same for other people, which is really disappointing. In terms of like in game with other like creators and some of the viewers as well, it's not so bad anymore. I never really get that. But like when we first started, so obviously Vantraxia is my brother. When we first started, we didn't really put our personalities out there too much because we were like, we're like grown men. I don't know if this is the space for our personalities to be here. And so we would kind of make what we make, but not really put any of ourselves into it, through obviously us feeling like it's not really our space. We don't want to take anything. And there was so much backlash from like viewers and other creators, which was basically like, they would say that we're basically AI and have like no personalities and stuff like that, which,
oh really?
Yes, it happened for quite a while.
So weird.
I know. And I think as well, after we started to reveal ourselves a little bit more, it was kind of like, if you're not this very specific type of man in Just to Impress, where you're like extremely on the feminine side, you kind of get made to feel like it's not really the place for you. And I personally don't believe that. I think everyone is welcome. There's obviously masculine men that play, there's feminine men that play. There's like so many different types of people. I don't think we can really put people in a box when it comes to a creative game, because people need to be different.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's true, actually. I mean, you mentioned your brother. Obviously, I was thinking about reaching out to him too, but he has like a bigger account, and I didn't want to be like me with my measly 15K. I don't know if that really matters, but and also he hasn't done a face reveal, so I figured maybe you'd be more willing to speak. But did you start playing because of him, or did you start playing at the same time? Like, was your journey together?
So I actually started playing a few days after Just to Impress was originally released. I started in, I think,
you're an OG.
Yes. And he started after the Brat update, I think. So I started creating content because of him, because he got into it a lot more. I was like, actually, maybe this could be fun. But yeah, I started playing before him. I actually made him play for the first time.
Oh, look at that. So you get all the credit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because like, I don't know, I think I started sometime in late 2023, but like, you know, he has one of the bigger DTI famous accounts, I guess you would call it. And so just from the outside perspective, it looked like he was here and then brought you in. I don't know. Like, I don't know anything about you guys. So this is just like from a consumer perspective. But set the record straight. You started first. Yeah, you know, well, I wanted to ask you too, like, I don't have like the actual statistics, but I'm assuming like most of the game is played by like women, girls, femme people. And like as a masculine creator, like I'm assuming your following is mostly girls. I don't know. Maybe you have the analytics of that yourself. You don't have to share. But I was curious how that felt to do the face reveal. Like, do you ever feel like, I don't know, were you afraid of being like sexualized, or you have to be like a certain type of man for the female audience or the female gaze? Because I don't know how chronically online you are, but I don't know if you've heard about like Corpse Husband or Dream when they did their face reveals. Everyone was like, you're not hot enough or something. So I was curious if you felt similarly.
I think that was definitely a thought before face reveal, and especially with the Dream thing, obviously, because there was a lot of backlash from that. I didn't want to do that myself. In terms of like the sexualization of things, it's been a little bit weird. I think most of it has been very positive. I think my audience being mostly girls actually for me made it a little bit easier, because I feel like the compliments I get are very, like, they're kind compliments. They're not really objectifying in any way, but there's always going to be that small group, whether you're a man or a woman, that just takes things a little bit too far. And it's the same with my my female friends as well that play Just to Impress. It's like they get the same sort of comments. So I think regardless of gender, just revealing your face, that's really a concern for like everyone.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, what made you actually decide to be like, time to show myself? Was it like the AI accusation? Was that what it was?
I think for me, it was just, I have spent like the past 2 years doing this. I've built myself up to where I am. And in my head, I was just thinking, I've done this for so long, and I feel like I've only put so much of myself into it. Like, it's there, it's mine, but it's not like me. So me being able to face reveal and put more of myself into it and allow me to like connect closer to my audience, I feel like that was really important for me. And also obviously going back into the men and boys playing Just to Impress thing, as a masculine creator, I get so many comments from little boys saying that like they're too scared to play Just to Impress, or even with the Just to Impress dolls, they're like, I want to get some, but like I don't know how much I'll be accepted or be able to get them. And it's important for me to be able to unapologetically play Just to Impress and make content, and show the people that watch my content that might be a little bit scared or whatever, that it's completely fine and it's normal.
Yeah, no, that's great. I know, I think that like when you did your face reveal, I got like a different feeling about you, and maybe it's just because of like these situations with like Corpse Husband, or like the stereotypes of like, as a man you have to have this deep sexy voice, and like all the girls swoon over you. And this is not like any judgment on your physical appearance or voice or anything, but it's like just kind of like what I expect for men when doing face reveals. It's like a sexy thing or something, and you're just like, nah, this is me. I didn't feel like you were like presenting yourself in an overly desirable way to the audience, and it felt very authentic. I like didn't, it just, you just like did it one day and I was like, oh damn, here he is. And I think it's really good.
It was I decided to face reveal on the day that I face revealed. I didn't want it to be a massive thing. Yes, I literally said, I always said, like, on my Discord server and stuff, I said, I'm never going to face reveal. That's not me. I'm not going to do it. And then one day I was like, I was just feeling the need to connect a little bit more. And I was like, maybe I should just face reveal. And I didn't want it to be a big thing. I didn't want the reaction to be a massive thing. So the easiest way for me to do that was to just be like, here it is.
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
without teasing it. I know, like I've mentioned to you, I've reached out to a whole bunch of different creators of like varying size platforms, and it's difficult to get people to come on because a lot of people are faceless, and I don't want to steal their face reveal by doing these interviews, because it's such a thing to plan it or like tease it or whatever. I did something similarly where I was like, I don't know. I mean, I don't have as big a platform as you or your brother or anything, but I'm just like, whatever, here's my face. It's more easy to be authentic. I can have conversations like this, which I think is, at least for me, more fun as a content creator. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to speak on behalf of your brother, but like, do you guys talk about this together? Like, does he have his own opinions about face revealing or what it means to be like a male presence in the community? Because I think a lot of us see you guys as like, oh my God, you're boys? Like, I know, especially for Van, like a lot of people, I still see in his comment section, like when he does his voice, people being like, I thought you were a girl. Like,
yeah, that's definitely true. That's most of his comments when he speaks. I do speak to Van quite a lot about like the dress to impress things, the community side of things. As for right now, I think his plan is to not face reveal. I don't think we can see that coming anytime soon. But then again, I guess I also said the same thing, and then I face revealed on a random Tuesday. So I think the thing that was most difficult for both of us, obviously pre-face revealing for me, was, like you said, some of the more objectifying comments. Makes it a little bit strange to do because I like my community and I want to connect, but I don't want to connect on a level that is like strange, considering I'm a grown man and my audience is like children. It makes me feel uncomfortable as well.
Yeah.
And I think Van, he's obviously a lot bigger than me. He gets that way more than me, which obviously will push him back from doing that sort of thing. But it's definitely, I think it's definitely something that holds people back from putting more of their self in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I think that's personally why it's so interesting to have you guys as like larger creators in the space as being like men, boys, simply because, like I said, most of the audience is females, and I think it's really good. I think it's breaking a lot of stereotypes personally. I mean, I know you guys probably, I don't know about you specifically, but I see like Vantraxia sometimes gets a lot of hate from like random, I don't know, I'm sure you guys deal with it, but like I still think it's awesome personally.
It's really fun. Obviously the hate does come. I feel like that comes for anyone. The biggest thing obviously for us is if we get the hate and it's something valid and something that we've genuinely done wrong, as the same for like everyone, it's really important for us to be able to listen and to learn and to obviously not do that again in the future. However, I feel like sometimes in Just to Impress, a lot of the stuff is very like nitpicky stuff where they just take something and like run with it. So you kind of have to learn what is important to you and what is worth your energy and stuff, and honestly focus on growing more and not going backwards.
I was curious how you feel about some of the earlier influencers, quote unquote, that played and like popularized DTI, like Queso, for example. Like I think he was one of the like first, I don't know, male players, and I have nothing against him. He's great. But I think like what I assume, looking at it from a producer perspective, is the reason he was so popular is because he's like this big masculine guy with a beard who's got this like husky voice and he's screaming, and there's almost like an irony. Oh, a man like that playing a girly game, and it's okay, but there's a little bit of like, oh, that's a man like that would never play this game. And I was just curious, like, how do you feel about that? Is it like you don't really care, or like because you said before there's a certain type of pressure to be a certain type of man who plays this game?
I think obviously, like I said before, to be perceived in like a, oh, you belong in this community kind of way, you have to present as a more, or had to, as a more like feminine man. I've personally seen like more masculine players that have been kind of more, like you said, the more discriminatory comments and stuff like that. On the other hand, though, I think to be a man and create content and create outfits, you do see a lot more of the compliments like, oh, a man has made this outfit. Whereas if it was to be a woman making the exact same outfit, the reaction wouldn't be anywhere near the same. Which realistically, it should just be the outfit. If the outfit's good, the outfit's good. In terms of the queso thing, I personally have never watched him, so I don't know too much about him. But I think, like you said, him being the more like masculine man playing just to impress, it does definitely feed into like more of the shock factor side of things. It's strange. I don't think it's too like bad because it gets people to be like, oh, like a man playing just like a dress-up game. Whilst it's shocking, it sort of puts it in the light. But also like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think like in the case of queso, yeah, it's kind of a nuanced thing. Like you're saying, it does play a little into the stereotypes that like, oh, a man like him shouldn't be doing girly things, but at the same time, it also breaks that down when he actually does it. So I don't know. It's an interesting line to walk. You know, you said just now that like you'll get comments being like, oh, I can't believe a man made an outfit like that. When you see something like that, does that hurt you? You called it a compliment. Like, do you feel like, yes, I did, and you're proud, or do you feel like kind of discriminated against? Like, of course, boys can do good outfits.
I personally, for me, I don't really think too much into things like that. But it's also like I said, if you're giving me this compliment that's like, oh, a man made this outfit, like that's so good, but then it's not going to be anywhere near the same for like, oh, a woman creator, a woman making this outfit. It is a very like a backhanded compliment, because whilst you're saying it's good, it's also the concept of it being good for a man. So actually, what level is that?
Exactly. Yeah, it's a little bit being like, oh, we don't expect much from someone like you. You know, it's, you know, that's why I really wanted to talk to someone like that, because I was like, I never get comments like that. I mean, we all get the comments of being like, your fit sucks, but I don't ever get it to be like, it sucks because you look like a woman. I've never received a comment like that. So it's, you know, it's unfortunate, but interesting, and I think valuable to hear your perspective. I mean, I'm sorry that happens. Is it frequent, or is it like every once in a while?
I think mainly it doesn't happen too much to me. I know obviously when Van posts and his voice is in there, everything blows up about him being a man, so everything is just revolved around him being a man. But it is kind of like, when it happens, it's like, what does me being a man have to actually do with the video that I made? Because I said nothing about like me being a man, or that actually wasn't the concept of the video. It doesn't happen too much, but when it does, it's more just kind of like I understand it's trying to be nice, but it is also so backhanded, because why would I not be as capable as anybody else? Yeah.
No, that's great. I mean, like, again, I've said this multiple times, but that's why I appreciate you guys so much. Just because like fashion has been so freaking gendered and like and racist like over the decades, you know, and that's why it's so interesting to have a game like DTI like reaching younger kids and like having a space to influence that and break down those like horrible stereotypes. I mean, it's been super sexist to women and men, and like really bad for their health, having like anorexia, all this sort of stuff over the years, you know. So I agree. I think you're right on point, being like, you can express your gender through it, but I think it goes far beyond that. Expression goes far beyond just like whatever you were assigned at birth. Yeah. Well, similarly, how do you feel about like how the game itself represents masked players? Like, obviously we got the male rig update like fairly recently, but like, I don't know. Do you have any opinions on that? Are you disappointed? I see a lot of male players being like, I feel left out even after that.
Personally, I never use the mask body. I like to express myself in a more feminine way. However, I will say for the mask body, the Gaga shoes, you know, the really tall ones.
Yeah.
The black ones. Them being broken for this long. And they've done a rework update with the quality of life update, and they still haven't fixed the shoes. I think for me, that just says like, that says a lot about kind of how the feminine body is like prioritized over the male one. What's kind of disappointing for me is that it seems most of the masculine items that get added now are just given from like the female items, the feminine items. So there's nothing really extremely masculine that mask people can use, other than like wearing a dress that the girl character has already had. I think if they actually, I don't know if it was said a little while back about having like a mask update. I think I remember something about that, but I'm not sure. I think if they actually did something like that, whether it was a mini update and actually focused on getting things fixed for the mask body and adding specifically mask items, it would be a lot better, and those players would feel more prioritized and like they're actually seen within the game.
Oh, is there anything you would like to say to like aspiring mask players or somebody who might be afraid to play because they'll be judged?
I think obviously, like I said, I was exactly the same growing up. I was so scared to be perceived as feminine. That was obviously both in my home life, which, like I said, my family is very accepting, but I still had the fear through hearing things, because I grew up in the age of like being online and stuff like that. That's like online, that's in school, stuff like that. I really didn't want to be perceived as feminine, but I also knew that I wasn't exactly the same as everybody else that was like cars and like soldiers and stuff like that. I think for me, it's important for everybody to know that dress to impress and making outfits and being creative isn't like a gendered thing. It shouldn't matter whether you're a boy or a girl. Whether it's down to like you're a girl, so you should like pink and bows, or whether you're a boy and you should like soldiers and blue. Everybody should just be able to do whatever they want. I think if you enjoy something, why shouldn't you do it if it makes you happy? Like, that's the most important part. And obviously, just to the kids growing up, not knowing sort of where they fit in, if somebody can find a place where they fit in and they're accepted at a really young age, that is really the best thing. I think so many kids, especially queer kids, grow up not knowing their place, not knowing really where they're accepted. And for spaces like this to be open to everyone is so important for like development, to know that you're normal growing up. I know that's not really a thing that that you'd expect, but like you're normal growing up and you're normal as an adult, and that should be something that everybody knows regardless.
It's just it's a great example what you just said of why it's so important. And then like also like you should be proud of yourself as well then for like starting there, and then like now finding a space for yourself in DTI and being that voice for maybe other kids in the same position. I mean, like times have changed, but I still think like you are part of the reason things are changing. So that's why I'm so grateful you came on to chat about all of this.
Yes.
Do you want to just give, like, I mean, everybody knows you, but would you like to say where people can find you to follow you if they don't already?
Yeah, so I am NoeticXP on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube.
Well, thank you so much for all your thoughts and being so authentic. And I'm glad you did the face reveal, even if some discomfort came. And, you know, I mean, total respect to your brother if he doesn't want to. But at the same time, if he did, like, hell yes. Like, I'm all for you guys being like, you know what? We are big creators in the space. We are mask players. And you don't need to sexualize me. But of course, no pressure. You know, he can watch you and decide how he feels. All right. Well, thank you so much, Noetic. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It was fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
I think it would be disingenuous to pretend that Dress to Impress isn't designed around a highly stereotypical feminine aesthetic. It absolutely is. It's pink, it's sparkly, it's fashion, makeup, dress up. The game is clearly embracing the things that our culture has traditionally labeled as girly. But that doesn't mean the game itself has to belong to girls. I think Noetic really hit the nail on the head when he said that self-expression has no gender. And it shouldn't. Instead of looking at DTI as an expression of a particular feminine gender identity, I think it makes much more sense to see it as a tool for creativity and self-expression in general. So if you're a man or a boy who's thought about playing the game, or maybe you have a brother or a male friend who's been interested in it, encourage them. There's no reason they shouldn't be playing dress up with us. Because I think that one of the things that makes DTI so great is that at its heart, both the game and its community have the potential to be incredibly inclusive. Everyone can play dress up, everyone can experiment with fashion, and everyone can make something ridiculous or beautiful or weird or completely outside of whatever you would wear in real life. And none of that needs to have a gender attached to it. Having creators like Noetic openly participating in this community helps widen that space even further. Every time someone feels comfortable enjoying something that they were told wasn't for them, it chips away at those stereotypes a little bit more. So I want to thank Noetic, and obviously by extension his brother Ventraxia, and honestly every other male DTI player, for being present in this space. And specifically, thank you to Noetic so much for taking the time to speak with me about this. I can tell he thought a lot about these experiences, and I'm really grateful that he was willing to share his full experience and his story with the community and with me, especially if it helps make this space a little safer and more welcoming to people who might relate to him and also want to join the game. So give him some love, guys and gals, and everyone in between. If you somehow don't already follow him, obviously go check him out and follow him. My analytics page tells me that most of y'all who watch me are femme, but if there's any guys out there, please share your experience in the comments. We'd really love to hear what it's been like playing a game like this. And obviously, if you're a girl as well and you have other experiences or you've seen discrimination about gender, please share as well. Growing up myself, I always more identified as a tomboy, quote unquote, and I used to reject all things stereotypically girly. So in my older age, I have actually enjoyed stepping into this space and trying to embrace these stereotypically girly things, but typically, as a femme person, it's not really ever something that resonated with me. So I'd love to hear if any of you felt similar. Do you feel like Dress to Impress is too girly? Do you like it being this girly? Do you wish that the male rig had more clothes? I think we all do. And if you made it all the way to the end of the video, I love you so much. These interviews actually take a lot of time to put together between finding people, setting things up, interviewing, researching, etc. So I always appreciate those of you who engage with them and actually stick around to hear the full conversations. I think it also means that you're a pretty thoughtful person, and I like to think that the DTI community isn't all just obsessed with appearances and slaying. I mean, we are, but we're also deep underneath all of that makeup. Anyway, much love to all of you, and of course, I'll see you out on the runway.